introduce ko lang si Ate Nancy. Siguro marami na sa inyo ang nakakilala sa kanya. But for those na hindi pa siya kilala, siya ay graduate din sa BJ. Graduate siya before ako mag-enter ng BJ, 2008. And then, na-meet niya rin sa BJ ang kanyang asawa, si Pastor Joseph Biswan. Graduate din sa Bob Jones Memorial Bible College. And 2011 sila ay nag-meet at nakapunta, pinasal at napunta sa Bangladesh. Tama po. And then 2012, nag-start na kanilang ministry sa Dhaka. Bali, 9 years na po, right? Ngayon. So yun si Nancy. Bigyan na po namin sa inyo yung time.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me well? All right. So, are you nervous like me? No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I am just so thankful to BJMBC Music Department under the leadership of Dr. Backrick for giving me the privilege to present to you something that I was not quite familiar with. But don't be nervous because I'm not going to teach you something out of something that I don't know. I did my research. I also thank Miss Sarah for patiently assisting me as I prepared for this. BJMBC was instrumental in giving me this task to talk about this aspect of Bangladesh, but I take this learning opportunity as from the Lord. I think God gave me this opportunity so that I can better understand the culture of the people we're serving in Bangladesh. And as you know, we will talk about the music of Bangladesh. Who among you are excited? Okay, so I hope that, yeah, thank you. So I hope that many of you, if not all, are excited. And as I said, I take this as a blessing because the thing that I hated before is something that I got to appreciate now because of the preparation I made for this lecture. Having lived in Bangladesh, I have heard different genres of Bangladeshi music played in both public places and private homes of people. I've heard them played in malls, public rides, events, and mosques. Their music has also influenced songs used even at churches. So the preparation for this lecture, as I've said over and over, made me realize the rich culture and history behind every Bangladeshi musical category or genre. Little did I know, Bangladeshi music is unique and beautiful in itself. If I would be to be honest with you, this was not my impression about Bangladeshi music before. Bangladeshi music used to be so annoying to me, and it was not something that I would be comfortable talking about in the past. And I believe it's all because it's something that, I did not grow up hearing. I'm not quite used to the melodic patterns of Bangladeshi music. However, my husband loves his country's music. And as I studied Bangladeshi music, I realized that it is distinctly admirable. And now I understand his love for his music better. Words will not be enough for me to, make you understand what I'm describing. So without further ado, let's talk about and feast on the music of Bangladesh. So as I have mentioned also before, Bangladesh has a very rich musical heritage since music has always played an important role in the lives of people. Bangla music in ancient times was mostly linked or connected to prayer. Due to the immense influence of Hindu mythology, most folk songs are related to some sort of praise of the gods and their creation. Songs were associated with particular groups of people, such as fishermen, cart drivers, hermits, and so on. Most songs were based on classical themes. Over time, new influences were introduced and musical styles also changed. Musical development was better than many other spheres of life because such development was often patronized by the rulers of the time. So just like here, if a certain music is supported by celebrities, in Bangladesh, if a certain music is like supported by the leaders of their time, then they become popular. So today, Bangladeshi music is varied and distinctive. And we will be talking about, I will mention to you that there are four main types of music in Bangladesh. We have classical, light classical, devotional, and popular or modern ones. These four may overlap in some cases, but we will not talk about the modern ones. We will just focus on the two of them, the classical and the folk music. So Bangla classical is like the classical music in the rest of the Indian subcontinent, not the rest of the world. It's quite unique. It is based on modes called ragas. If you have your handouts, e-handouts with you, you can take a look at your notes too. So rag is a melodic framework for improvisation similar to a melodic mode in Indian classical music, while the raga is a remarkable and central feature of the classical music tradition. It has no direct translation to concepts in the classical European music tradition. As I've said, you cannot find any other music outside of Indian subcontinent that is similar to their music. As you know, let me mention also that Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan were one nation before. That's why they share the same type of music. So all traditional Bangla music is based on classical music or on its variation. Let me mention that each rega or raga is an array of melodic structures with musical motifs considered in the Indian tradition to have the ability to color the mind and affect the emotions of the audience. So as we listen to some samples later, you would notice those melodic patterns I'm talking about. And as you can see in your notes, I've pasted some pictures of popular musicians. They are the most talented classical musicians of subcontinent that came from Bangladesh. So we have Pandit Ravi Shankar, Ustad Alauddin Khan, we have Ustad Abed Hussein Khan, and we have Ustad Ayet Ali Khan. So as you can see in their, as they have their pictures, they are holding some classical musical instruments too. So the one with a lot of strings, we call that sitar, and the other one with a lot of big pegs, we call them as, please give me a few seconds, I forgot the name, sarod. Sarod, yeah, that's right. So, let's focus on the classical music, which has many forms. The most popular one, please take notes, is Dhrupad. And I'm sure Miss Sarah is showing you the spelling, okay? So as you can see in your notes, okay, so Dhrupad is what is known as the Hindustani devotional songs. They are normally verses of poem that are sung, and as Wikipedia describes it, it is a spiritual, heroic, thoughtful, virtuous, embedding moral wisdom or solemn form of song music combination. Thematic matter ranges from religious and spiritual, mostly in praise of Hindu deities, to royal panegyrics. It's a technical term for formal speeches, musicology, and romance. So first of all, I would like to give you an opportunity to listen to a Drupad sample, and Miss Sarah will play it for us.
চিরদিবস নব মাধুরী নব শোভা তব বিশ্বে নব কুসুম পল্লব নব গীত নব নন্দ
much. So now you have the feel of a Drupal, and maybe some of you are kind of understanding now why I kind of had this distaste toward Bangladeshi music. But they have their own beauty, as I said. You may have noticed how the woman sang. What is your impression about it? If you have any thoughts, you may feel free to share them with me. Feel free to be honest too.
You can unmute so that you can answer Atinan's question.
The pitch, it was like, it didn't just go from one pitch to the next pitch. It kind of slid a lot, and it wasn't it didn't follow, like you were saying, it didn't follow European rules. It was very, very unique.
That's right. Very good. So any other thoughts? Nobody will hear us. Nobody from Bangladesh will hear us, so it's okay, joke. Okay. So I think she got the point. It's kind of, they have a very unique melodic pattern, right? Now, my opinion is that generally the way Bangladeshi people sing classical pieces like this is quite different from the Western style of singing. And to me, their voice is quite nasal. I don't think I can ever imitate the way they sing. If you were to ask the locals, though, people who sing like us, who we tend to use the Western style of singing, they think that we sound awkward or strange. But to them, the best way of singing is the way the woman in the video sang. It's about culture. And also, you're maybe wondering what kind of percussion instrument was in the performance. We call that dholak, a two-headed hand drum from the Indian subcontinent, and it may have a traditional cotton rope lacing, and it has steel rings that are used for tuning and pegs that are twisted inside the laces. So that's how they tune this drum. And don't be surprised if you get to visit us in Bangladesh. We may bring you to a local church in the village, and they still use this drum, and it doesn't make them worldly. That's part of their culture. Okay, now let's move on to another. By the way, there's an instrument you may have noticed beside the woman. You could see a stringed instrument, and we call that a tanpura. Later, I will be showing you the instruments in Bangladesh. So at the end of the lesson, I will be showing you some common instruments in Bangladesh. We will learn that later. Now, the second most popular form of music in Bangladesh is called khayal. It is the longer melodic form of Dhrupad with very few restrictions. It is usually accompanied by a tobla, or a pair of drums, and a tambura, or some people call it tanpura. It's a lute in a variety of talas, the Indian term for metric cycles. So khayal is ordinarily performed by a vocalist. The rhythm of the melodic performance is non-metric, but the percussion accompaniment is cast in a tala, or musical meter, in Indian subcontinent. And the time cycle is shaped by the repeated pattern theka, performed by the accompanist. A common instrument in this type of music is harmonium. It's sort of like a short keyboard with bellows, as they say. It's almost like an accordion, but you lay it flat on the floor. You don't hold it up on your body. So it's something like a short keyboard with bellows and stops. And I will give you a chance to listen to a sample of KL music with the help of Miss Sarah. Thank you.
साजन मोर घर आए स्टार्ट बांग्ला ও চোখে চেয়েও না চেয়েও না 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 কি হবে আমারও চাহ
Hello? I think nagkang si attendance. Or, yep. You're muted po. Ay, attendance. Nakamute ka po.
Ayun, ayun. Sorry. Ayun, sorry. Is it okay if you kind of play it in the middle of the video para makita nila so that they could see the other instrumentalists then? Is it okay?
Yes po.
Ayan, thank you.
চাহনি রূপথা রূপথা ও চোখে যেও না চেয়েও না ও চোখে যেও না চেয়েও না
So thank you so much, Miss Sarah.
হবে আমার
All right, so who wants to share his impression about this music? Is it your first time to see those types of instruments? Yeah? Right. So we are kind of having a virtual tour sa Bangladesh through their music then. They have unique instruments. Not only do they have unique melodic patterns, they also have unique musical instruments. Now let's move on to folk music. But before that, do you have any questions that Miss Sarah can answer? No. All right. Do you have any questions? All right, so if you don't have any more questions, let's move on to the next point. We will talk about folk music. So Bangla folk music has a long history. Several people contributed to what has become one of the most important musical influences in lives of Bengalis on both sides of the West Bengal and Bangladesh border. Among the influencers are Lalon Fokir, Hasan Raja and Ramesh Sheel. I'm sorry that I was not able to, look for their pictures, but I was able to look for Lalan Fokir's picture. You can see it later. So Abbas Uddin was a key player in popularizing folk music. Now, folk music nurtured through the ages by village poets, enriched in devotional mysticism and love lore or love stories. Which were popular. So the best forms of folk music are baul, vatiali, morshidi, and vawaya. So baul songs need particular mention due to its popularity. They also have no real equivalents outside the country. The vigorous, spontaneous style of these types of music generally distinguishes them from classical genres. So let's take a look at the baul music. So this type of song is distinct. It is traditional from a group called the Baols of Bengal, a group of people that pursue a life of that pursue a life of, you have the blank there, a life of self-denial and meditative discipline, committed to a belief that the ultimate existence is to be found not so much through rituals in holy places, but in every self, and are enthusiastic to share this passion almost exclusively through their art, and that's music. So to me, as I was reading this, I was thinking of the Buddhists. they, to me, they are like the monks, but they are still distinct from the monks. The Baols are normally in flowing robes with untrimmed hair. Diba? The Buddhist monks are like walang hair. Pero sila, they have untrimmed hair. And some are carrying a single stringed musical instrument called ektara. So ektara, ek means one and tara is the string. So single stringed musical instrument called ektara, and all bursting into song. Even now, when we go to some revival meetings, there are some people who got converted into Christianity who used to be part of this group, and you would see them sing like crazy in revival meetings in the villages. Okay, so Baal, in their dedicated and poetical search for the unknown bird, the man of the heart, who they believe hides within every human frame, a God in whom all individuals are said to have a part to express this longing in song. So the Baal taught through poetry and performance their, doctrine. So I will not explain it too long, because in the video I will be showing there is also like a voiceover that will explain what Baul songs are. And yeah, please play the song, Miss Sarah. Thank you.
The Bauls are mystic minstrels living in rural Bangladesh and the Indian province of West Bengal. The Baul movement, which was at its peak in the 19th and early 20th centuries, has now regained popularity among the rural population of Bangladesh. Their music and way of life have influenced a large segment of Bengali culture, particularly the compositions of Bengali Nobel Prize laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Bauls live either near a village or travel from place to place, and earn their living from singing to the accompaniment of the ektara, a simple one-stringed instrument, and a drum called dubki. The Bauls belong to an unorthodox devotional tradition, influenced by Hinduism, Buddhism, Bengali, Vaishnavism and Sufi Islam, yet distinctly different from them. Bauls neither identify with any organized religion, nor with a caste system, special deities, temples or sacred places. Their emphasis is on the importance of a person's physical body as the place where God resides. Bauls are admired for this freedom from convention, as well as their music and poetry. Baul poetry, music, song and dance are devoted to finding human beings' relationship to God and to achieving spiritual liberation. Their devotional songs can be traced back to the 15th century when they first appeared in Bengali literature. Ball music represents a particular type of folk song, carrying influences of Hindu Bhakti movements as well as a shupi, a form of Sufi song. Songs are also used by the spiritual leader to instruct disciples in Ball philosophy and are transmitted orally. The language of the songs is continuously modernized, so endowing it with contemporary relevance.
All right, so thank you so much, Miss Sarah. And I forgot to recognize the presence of Miss Regine. Thank you so much for helping us out here too. And let's go back to our description. So it's a distinct traditional music in Bangladesh. And as I mentioned, there are some people who got converted into Christianity. And during revival meetings, they would still, be very expressive in the way they worship God through their music. And as I mentioned diba, a while ago, they play music like crazy because literally in Bangladesh, they are called pagols. And if you would translate that word into Tagalog, baliw or crazy, that's how they look at people like them. But anyway, it's all about culture. It's not offensive to them. The word crazy is not, pagol is not offensive in their culture. Now, what is your impression about this music? Anyone? Are you gonna? Do you feel like you're gonna be comfortable singing this type of music or song? Okay, so let's move on to another type of folk music. It's called Vatiali. And I would say that as I did my research and as I did my preparation for this lesson, this is the thing that I like the most among all the Bangladeshi music there is. Vatiali is a form of music in both Bangladesh and West Bengal in India. Vatiali is a river song, mostly sung by boatmen while going down streams of the river. And this is sort of like about nature. The word Vatiali comes from Bhata, which means ebb or downstream. So let's listen to a sample of this music. There will be a teacher here that will be explaining to us what Vatiali music is. Okay, let's listen. Thank you, Ms. Sarah.
In this lesson, you know that we discussed about Hamas last, and now this session, I will try to play and just try to show you a very beautiful tune, Bhatiali, based on Hamas. Bhatiali is, you can see the tune, the sound of river. Mainly, when the boatmen, they travel in the boat, they have some kind of special song that is also known as Bhatiali. Just you know that the tune, the sound of river. So the tune is very simple, and I'm going to play Bhatiali, and it's based on Kaharbatal 8 beat. Now Kaharbatal, you know Kaharbatal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Dha tin na 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 tin dha na dha tin na 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 tin dha na dha. So there are some kind of special. I will give you a short alap, just to feel the emotion of the Bhatiali. Then I will do just. I will play the composition. See how to make the sound of river, and I will make some wave of notes you can feel. the song. Now, what I'm going to say, alap, like pa ni dha pa dha sa. Ga re sa re ga. Re ma ga re sa ni dha. Ni dha pa dha sa. Ni re sa re ni sa dha ni pa dha pa. Pa ni dha ni.
So you got a feel of Bhatiali music. Did you like it like I did? All right, because I also play the recorder, and that's why I liked it. And I think some of you can play the flute, right? So maybe you appreciated that too. Now, let's go to the next type of folk music they have. This is Morshidi Gahan. I don't know if you have a blank there or not, but Morshidi Gahan. Gahan means song, and Morshidi is another term for a counselor, which also refers to Allah. Not much information is available online, but I asked my husband about it, and he told me that this music is mostly advocated by Islam devotees in Bangladesh. And last night, as I was preparing for preparing your notes, I decided that I would do more research. And I found a description of this music that says they are devotional folk songs. Murshidi Gans are devotional folk songs that evolved and flourished mainly through Sufis. Sufis are a group of priests in Islam. So the word murshid, as I've mentioned, is derived from the Arabic word irshad, which means to order or give advice. So if we have the psalms or the hymns, the choir songs that give us counsel when we are at church, the Islam people have this murshidi gan. A murshid gives advice to his disciples and leads them to the spiritual way by means of devotional rites. A murshid has the same place in Muslim religious meditation, as a guru has in yoga. So in our terms, this will equate to choir songs that encourage us when we are down. Now, the tunes of Murshidi songs are essentially sorrowful and heartrending. Maybe that's why I don't like this type of music when I hear it, because it arises out of the pain of the follower's perception of inability, ignorance, and non-attainment of spiritual bliss. Murshidi songs are usually sung in slow measures, but sometimes rapid measures depending on the music composer, and they are employed to make them more attractive. So let's listen to a sample. Miss Sarah, thank you for your help. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can keep on playing it that part. Sorry. That's the change of rhythm kasi. There's a change of rhythm. Is it okay if you play it a little bit more? Alright, thank you. So who wants to share his or her thoughts about this music? What emotion got stirred in your heart as you listen to this type of music? Even though we did not understand all the words, what kind of emotions did you feel upon hearing this? Did you feel encouraged? No.
Anyone?
Anyone, you can be honest.
Or we will call some volunteer.
Ma'am Regine, sorry?
Mag-call na lang tayo ng volunteer. Attendance. Meron ka ba?
Yeah. Because yung parang like that. Parang it's like a cry, 'di ba? So as mentioned din naman sa description, it's usually songs that are essentially sorrowful and heartrending. Dahil nga they want to attain spiritual bliss. So, yun. Do you have any other questions or comments about the music before we
Ako pa
continue?
may question.
Yes,
Is
yes.
it for maybe parang related ba siya for some like festive or celebration?
Yes. So usually they have this Ramadan after the end of their fasting. They have this gathering, then they celebrate. Yeah. So this is also part of the songs they use when they celebrate the end of fasting.
Hello. Ayan.
Yes.
Have you all noticed the way he played the violin?
Oh yeah, yung mga violinist, may mga rules ba siyang na-violate? Joke.
Okay. So, they do their own way ng pag-play ng Western music.
Right. To be very honest, I did my research last night. I was trying to look for like a Bangladeshi musical score, and I could not find any because as far as I know, yeah, minsan they're performing. That's the time na mag-a-adjust sila ng tune, mag-a-adjust sila ng rhythm, ganun. So they don't have this systematic way of playing music. But it's it's still beautiful to their ears and to people who are used to listening to their songs. All right, so for time's sake, let's move on to another type. And I think this is the last one among all. Vawaya. So it's BH, but it's pronounced as V in Bangla. So Vawaya is a folk song generally about love between man and woman. And this is what we would, what they would consider a love song, but still in folk form. Okay, this was derived from this word vawaya was derived from the word vava or emotion. So vawaya songs, however, may be spiritual in theme depending on the composer or the lyricist. Vawaya may be of two types. One draws out the voice in melancholy notes, while the other has chatka or skipping tone. So the fast-paced chatka is conic and light. It is about expectations and ambitions, about conflicts between husband and wife, as well as about the ups and downs of family life. So this is, I think, what we would equate to kundiman, but this is Bangladeshi version, okay? So the third type called shrirol is a combination of these two tunes. So the two-stringed dotara, remember in the other one we had ektara, it's like one stringed instrument, and dui means two, so it's a two-stringed instrument, and this is the main musical accompaniment for this type of music. So we will be taking a look at three types. So let's have a listen. Please help us, Miss Sarah. Thank you.
Deeply detoxify your hair with Tresemme
Just
Detox.
the ad, sorry.
কিসের মোর রান্ধন কিসের মোর বারণ কিসের মোর রান্ধন কিসের মোর বারণ কিসের মোর হলুদে বাটা মোর প্রাণনাথ অন্যের বাড়ি যায় মোর অঙ্গিনা দিয়া ঘাটা মোর প্রাণনাথ অন্যের বাড়ি যায় মোর অঙ্গিনা দিয়া ঘাটা ও প্রাণ সজনী কারাগে কবু দুষ্কের কথা ও প্রাণ সজনী কারাগে কবু দুষ্কের কথা
Naka-mute ka po ulit, Ate Nan. You're mute.
Sorry, sayang yung word. Sorry. Okay, so that's the sample of Kundiman, or the love song, the traditional love song in Bangladesh. And you may have, what emotions did you feel upon hearing this music? Did you feel the sorrow or the pain of the wife? Because he was being ignored by the husband and he was actually seeing someone else. So the wife was wearing the red shari and he was seeing someone else who's wearing the green shari. So it's just a common theme, not a common, but one of the themes in love songs of Bangladesh. Now let's take a look at chatka, or the fast-paced Vawaya song. Thank you, Miss Sarah.
Ako lang ulit kung may commercial.
Yeah.
Hindi.
Any questions, comments? Yeah, feel free to ask Miss Regine and Miss Sarah.
So,
Sinong na in love dahil sa song? Joke.
so Ate Nance was saying about kanina yung sa style nila. So hopefully
Yeah.
with the Indian music lecture ni Mr. D,
Sorry.
With the Indian music lecture for with Mr. Bakal tomorrow, we will understand more than sa improvisation. Kung bakit
Yes.
sila nilagay yung music.
Yes. So this is like a forerunner para kay Mr. Backrack. Mas maintindihan nyo. Hindi na kayo maka-culture shock pag pag-usapan nyo yung Indian music. Yes. Thank you, Ms. Regine. Any other comments or questions? All right. So for time's sake, let's move on to the second one, the second type of this music, chatka.
Hello?
Oh, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wala.
Yes. Clear.
Hello? Meron na po?
Yes.
Okay.
Even before.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wala yung video.
Naririnig niyo po yung sound nung YouTube? Ah, yes. Ako kasi hindi ko naririnig. Bakit kaya? Anyway.
So thank you so much. Now you have an idea what or how chatka sounds like. Now let's move on to another type, and it's called shrirol. All right, and this third type is the combination of these two tunes. Let's see. And you may have noticed the other guy, by the way, like playing a guitar. It's dotara. It has only 2 strings. So let's take a look at the third type. And this is the last among the playlist we have.
Hello. Okay. Hello. Naririnig niyo ako? Nagka-problem ako sa audio ko. Anyways, so thank you so much, Ate Nancy, for that. Hindi ko rin kayo narinig kanina. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So is the time up?
Yes po.
Okay. So maybe for time's sake, I'll just close. Na we will skip the musical instruments. They are in your notes naman. So there are 2 types of musical instruments. The self-sufficient one, you can fill in the blanks. The self-sufficient one, you can guess that it's it can be played without other accompaniments. And the other one is dependent. It needs accompaniment. Okay, so those are the 2 answers for the blanks. And the conclusion of the matter is another culture's music, to understand another culture's music, doing a deeper a deeper study of it will erase all our distaste towards such type of music we did not grow up hearing. Just as how beauty is in the eye of the beholder, the beauty of each genre of other countries' music just depends on the ear of the listener and an open-minded student. That's it for today. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ate Min.
Bye.
Bye. So last
Oh.
few minutes for announcement lang for the students. Pero we can stop recording na to, Miss Ara, kung
Sure.
gusto mo. So, some of you, announcements lang